Welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy. I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today I'm going to talk to you about another underrated film called Donnybrook, which I finally had the pleasure to watch, which is now available on Tubi, starring Jamie Bell, Frank Grillo, and James Bagdale. It's a story revolving around two men and their lives as they prep up for this big competition brawl to win $100,000. And it's a very gritty crime thriller directed by Tim Sutton. This is the second feature film I think he's made, or I think he's made a few. He's a indie filmmaker, but this is the second film I've seen of his, and this is a film that from what I've seen out of his work, is more narrative driven. And first off, I'd like to say I love Tim Sutton's directions with this film. He takes his time really trying to pan out and slowly build up his characters and the intensity behind it. And I like there's kind of a lot of subtleties that kind of goes on in the film, especially with these characters where there's so much behind them. There's so much about these characters that kind of something very dark and sinister about them. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, this film is bleak. It is dark, and it's not a happy film at all. In fact, this film does not shy away of any of the violence or the messages that really um, fishes out, where it deals with the typical American dream, where not really anybody's living a dream. Everybody's trying to struggle to make ends meet. It's a somewhat of a downer film because everybody in this film is dealing with some sort of addiction or running away from something or struggling, which really makes these characters very human, and relatable to a sense where sometimes it's actually scary where you witness and experience these characters and they do some very questionable acts, especially Frank Grillo, who I wanted to see in this film. And I'm gonna tell you, this guy's a straight up villain. And he's evil. His character is evil. Um, he's a meth head drug dealer and long time, but he has like an empire or something. They don't really go into in detail into it. But the guy is a brutal murderer, and he has a weird, and the guy's weird. He has a weird, unusual relationship with his fellow blood, played by the girl Margaret. I'm not gonna pronounce your name, girl, but she's from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and a few other movies you've seen her. They're siblings, but they are also a thing, which is okay. I didn't expect that. So he kind of uses her to kind of help get some deals per se. I won't go full in detail into that as to what is, because there's some scenes in here where it's shock value, and it's very, it catches you off guard. It catches you off guard, and with her character, you kind of see that she is kind of held hostage in the life that she's in. Jamie Bell, who is great in this film, which I believe he's very underrated as an actor. I really like that he really pushes for the more dramatic films. It actually depends on what kind of film it is, but here he really goes with it. He really goes with it, and I kind of love how this film goes, how brutal this film is. It's very dark, it's very gritty, it's very graphic, And I love some of these scenes here, especially with Frank Grillo. He's probably one of the most badass villains I've seen in a long while. Like, I'm just telling you, this guy is scary. And this is probably my favorite role of his now after watching this film. And I've been wanting to watch this film for quite some time now. He is up to par with villains like Anton Chigurh, Darth Vader. I mean, this guy is terrifying. When he's on screen, he's terrifying. He's scary. He's scary. Whenever he is on screen and something happens and it like builds up, sometimes with very minimal dialogue, he'll say something and that's it. You're done. Uh, this film is slow. It takes its time. James Bagdell plays a detective who's on Frank Grillo's tail. He's good in it, and it's kind of like a No Country for Old Men kind of like vibe movie. Um, Maybe a little bit bleaker, but I could I'd recommend this film. But again, there are some scenes in here that are very intense, and do mind the slowness of this film. It takes a while because you're really introducing more of the lives and the background of these characters, and you kind of want to see where it goes, and you're really invested as to what the conclusion will be, which leads up to a big brawl fight, which is intense. Donnybrook, have you seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.